What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActionMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm doing my Oscar predictions, and we're down to supporting actor. These are my earliest of early Oscar predictions, and I have to say, of all of the categories I've done so far, this is the one category that if I could lock it in and say I'm early on, I know locking in is dangerous, but I actually, if like 4 out of the 5 of these could end up becoming true, I would be pretty happy because theoretically, assuming the movies are good, this is not a bad set of nominees. Uh, so let's talk about it. And there's one that I have just outside that I would swap in, and then that would make my 5 for 5. And I feel pretty good about that. So, supporting actor, in the number one spot, I have what everyone else has, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly. The performance everybody's talking about, apparently the test screening buzz is all about Sandler and how good he really truly is, and how he's the standout of the film in a supporting role from Noah Baumbach. He's been good before. He's worked with Noah Baumbach before. So, could Noah finally pull an Oscar-nominated performance for Adam Sandler? Is the question. Can we hear the words Academy Award nominee Adam Sandler? It feels so weird to be saying that the same year he's going to do Happy Gilmore 2, but it's possible. So, I actually even put in because I don't think Jay Kelly is the kind of film where I don't think he is strong enough because he hasn't gotten in previously for like Uncut Gems. Sandler doesn't seem to be the kind of person who can get in sort of on a Kieran Culkin type basis where the film isn't widely accepted. I think Jay Kelly has to be the kind of film that is being accepted, and then also along with it, he tends to be. So that's why I have it in like picture and actor and even supporting actors for Laura Dern, is because I think it has to come across kind of like Marriage Story did for Noah, and also like screenplay, and has to be doing pretty well for them. So that's Sandler at the top of my list right now. Number 2 is Andrew Garfield for After the Hunt. He has 2 nominations thus far. This would be his third. And he has yet to win. He's supporting Julia Roberts. And it could be an interesting role for him. So I don't really have a problem with Andrew Garfield. It's a nomination I don't necessarily need, but also at the same time, if he's good in Lucasfilm, if he just comes along with the package, then great. I would be perfectly fine to see Andrew Garfield get nominated. Again, they seem to like to nominate him. He was really great last year in his Florence Pugh movie that should have gotten a little bit more awards attention, but A24 has too many movies to try to sell to the Oscars. And at the end of the day, Florence Pugh stole that movie. We Live in Time. So next down the list, I've got Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I think this has to happen. I really want this to happen also. This is one of the ones where it's like, can I lock this in? Can we make this happen? Stellan's been working in the field for a long time. He's doing really great work right now on Andor. And he's been doing great work basically his whole career. He even does films outside of the English language. So, I mean, like, you have to take into account both the films he does for American audiences and back home as well. And I think if Sentimental Value hits at Cannes, like I think it will, I think it's quite possible. I'm hoping. This is we're gonna find out in like a couple weeks when this movie hits at Cannes whether or not he has a shot. I'm really hoping for him. I like when character actors make good. I like when we make good for character actors too, and we finally are like, come on, it makes me feel good because they do so much good work throughout their careers that goes like highly unrecognized. That I just, like, I'd rather, like, if I could keep him versus Andrew Garfield's sight unseen in both performances, I would keep him, because Andrew has no problem being a leading man. He's not a character actor. Anyway, moving down. Jeremy Strong from Deliver Me From Nowhere. Do I think he could repeat 2 years in a row? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's a Bruce Springsteen biopic. The package between the two Jeremys being in this movie, I could see him following in sort of like how Edward Norton followed last year for Complete Unknown. He's clearly a solid actor that is respected, and he had a lot of buzz for The Apprentice. He got in when his film did not, so that's a good notion for him. So if his film ended up getting into the Best Picture race, I think it would just strengthen his chances. So, got Jeremy Strong. And then Sean Penn for One Shot After Another, the Paul Anderson movie. He's currently the only acting nomination I have, although I have DiCaprio just like right outside the acting list. So I think the buzz on this film is that his performance is the one that stood out in test screenings, much like the Sandler thing. I have it in the Best Picture race and Best Director race. It could be the kind of film that gets one acting or two acting nominations. It doesn't need to get everybody. Killers of Flower Moon didn't get everybody. Killers of Flower Moon got actress and supporting actor. So it could be like that. And Sean Penn hasn't been nominated in a few years. Again, it's a nomination I don't necessarily need. I like, you know, I mean, he's a strong actor. He does solid work. But I would like, actually, if it could happen, I like the support. I haven't seen the movie, but it would be really cool if Mark Hamill in The Life of Chuck could happen. An actor who has never had a nomination. I have him outside the top 5 because I do not understand. I don't know if this is a lot of wish dicting happening for this movie. I have to see the movie, but I was thinking, like, this can't be that hard of a nomination to get. Like, if you're a publicist, the goodwill that Mark Hamill has built up in Hollywood over the years, everybody knows who he is, you know, and the fact, if he has a role that's actually meaty, I think he could get in and his film doesn't need to get anywhere else. Like, he can be like a Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, where like, he's the only nominee for the movie. So, yeah, I think Life of Chuck did really well when it was at Toronto for a reason, because the movie's good. So if the movie's good, that's enough to help push Mark Hamill. I remember seeing him in Brigsby Bear and thinking he was really good in that. He did the limited series with Mike Flanagan, Fall of the House of Usher. He's really good in that. So Hamill has a way of being sort of doing these roles where he doesn't quite get the recognition because we're not used to recognizing Mark Hamill. And if Neon could mount any sort of campaign for this film and center Mark Hamill, I think he has a much better shot than Tom Hiddleston does of getting a nomination. So, sight unseen, haven't seen the movie, but I would think telling people to vote Mark Hamill and then having Mark Hamill going around and doing interviews, if he's willing to do all of those Oscar interviews and everything, could actually materialize something for him. Worst case scenario, maybe he sneaks in at like the Golden Globes, you know, or gets a SAG nomination or something. I don't know, but it would be worth campaigning. After Mark, I've got another actor who's overdue, and that's Delroy Lindo for Sinners. He's really the only other actor that I'm entertaining from Sinners other than Michael B. Jordan. I don't think Haley comes along for that. I just don't. I think it'll probably follow like the Get Out model, where like Daniel Kaluuya got the nomination and nobody else. It could follow that, but Delroy is, you know, people have talked about his performance being a standout performance, and again, actor should have an Oscar nomination by now. Came pretty close to getting one for having worked with Spike Lee in Da 5 Bloods. So it would be nice to see him, hear his name called after having a pretty solid career in film and television. So, moving down the list, Jonathan Bailey for Wicked for Good. I think that this is possible. In yesterday's video, when I did supporting actress, I acknowledged the fact that depending on how they reshape and what they do with Glinda, it could become a vehicle for Fiyero. Act 2 does benefit Fiyero a little bit more because he gets a little bit more into it with Elphaba. So, I don't know. He came pretty close, and the fact that he got some attention for the first film and was like just outside the top 5, probably he was, if we could see the nominees, I feel pretty confident in saying Jonathan Bailey was a top 10. Like if we nominated 10 people for supporting actor, he would have gotten in. So if he's floating that close for the first film, him getting into the top 5 this year is not impossible. Especially considering he didn't get in for the first film, people may feel more inclined to vote for him where they didn't last year. We'll see. We'll just have to see how people love, how many people love As Long as You're Mine, and how that works for them. I've also got Stephen Graham for Deliver Me From Nowhere, just in case he ends up being the role and not Jeremy Strong. Sometimes that's what the case is it's not the role. We get the wrong role, we're tracking the wrong role, so we have to see the film. And so I put Stephen Graham just because he gets a decent amount of attention. It's possible he could get a nomination. Josh O'Connor for History of Sound. We'll see. Want to know more about the movie. Josh O'Connor is, I've mentioned there are some of these young actors that we just keep talking about. Josh O'Connor's sort of in that wheelhouse now where we just, anytime they're in a movie now, we're just like, oh my God, Austin Butler did it. Is he going to get nominated for The Bike Riders? Is Josh O'Connor get nominated for Challengers? Is, Paul Mescal going to get nominated for Gladiator 2? It's just like every time these up and coming young men, Glenn Powell, it's just the stars of tomorrow. I saw the argument from Adam Conover that we didn't have stars anymore. And I'm like, I mean, we do. They're just different. It's different now because it's based on their social media presence and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, sort of. It's a very different. He's right and also wrong, but right at the same time. Moving down the list. Jacob Elordi, another one of those we're having a moment right now actors for Frankenstein. I doubt this is going to happen unless I do something really interesting with his character. I'm never going to discount Guillermo del Toro to be able to do something unique and interesting with a character. So he picked a pretty boy like Jacob Elordi for a reason. He could have picked a more character actor for this. He has all of the resources in the world to elevate a more character actor for the role, like Kevin Durand or somebody like that for Frankenstein, who would have made sense as like a monstrous type person in terms of girth, like size and everything, right? No, he picked Jacob Elordi for a reason, because he might be doing something different with the role. So we have to see. Anyway, moving down the list. Jeffrey Wright for Highest Lowest. There's just Spike Lee's new movie. It's Jeffrey Wright, so I'm keeping an eye on him. He would have to stand out a lot to make this happen, I think, probably. Dylan O'Brien for Twinless. I doubt this is going to happen. I saw this on the list. I thought it was interesting. Denzel Washington also for Highest to Lowest. I think there's a debate about whether or not he's lead or not. I think he's probably going to be supporting, because the early word is that A$AP Rocky is really the lead. But they could still run Denzel in lead if there's enough screen time, because let's be honest, I don't think A$AP Rocky, unless it's like a once in a generation performance, I don't think he's going to get nominated. Eminem had a very critically acclaimed performance in 8 Mile, and he didn't get nominated. So I just think it's hard to sell a rap artist uh, like that for a film unless it's just feels like holy shit, you know. Um, Lakeith Stanfield for Die My Love. Yeah, I guess it's happening. Lakeith has a way of standing out in movies, like War Machine, where he just becomes the thing that you focus on, regardless of what the film is. So yeah, I think he could follow Jennifer Lawrence instead of like a supporting actress nomination. There's also Nick Nolte's in this movie, so it's got a really great cast to it. But we'll see. Moving down, I got Woody Harrelson for Ellen McKay because again, it's James L. Brooks, and on the offside chance that James L. Brooks remembered how to direct. And it hits. James L. Brooks has some really excellent films behind him and has Best Picture nominees. So I don't have his film in anywhere. I just have it all on like potentials. I haven't picked it for a single category because I think this is kind of like how we're at the end with Francis Ford Coppola's talent and Ridley Scott's talent. Clint Eastwood did tick up there at the end, though, with Jury Number 2, but it wasn't enough to get Oscar nominations. So it's possible that Ellen McKay may just be better than How Do You Know, but not good enough to win Best Picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible that it could be like, oh, that was fine. It's better than his last film. You know? We moved in the right direction. Not everybody hated Gladiator 2. So it's possible there were some people who thought Gladiator 2 was better than Napoleon. So I don't think anybody thought Megalopolis was better than anything Francis Ford Coppola had done in recent memory, but who knows? So Joe Alwyn for Hamnet. In case Chloe Zhao actually has the next big thing in film. I kind of have this at like Jessie Buckley and maybe nothing else right now. I don't have Paul or Joe Alwyn in yet. So, but Joe Alwyn was in Brutalist last year. So if he just keeps accumulating proximity to Oscar movies, he may one day find himself in the race himself. So he's picking smart movies, it would seem. I also have Christoph Waltz for Frankenstein, just in case, because you never know with Christoph Waltz. Dude has 2 Oscars. Pedro Pascal for Materialists, which is Celine Song's new movie. So we'll see how that lands. I also have Albert Brooks on here for Ella McKay. He's still owed a nomination. He should have been nominated for Drive. So if he has a decent role in Ella McKay and that movie is good, it's possible he could be instead of Woody Harrelson. I think they'd be open to it. It depends on his role and how much he's doing. Brendan Fraser for Pressure. I think he's probably got a better chance this year in lead actor for his Rental Family, but I'm not counting out Pressure, so I maybe supporting actor nomination for Brendan Fraser. He was good in Killers of the Flower Moon also, so he's been trying to find the right projects to choose in his post-Oscar Oscar nomination world. And then I've got also Bradley Cooper for Is This Thing On, which I'm sure people think is dumb, but he is also directing the film. And he got an inordinate amount of attention for that Licorice Pizza performance. So, and it really wasn't that much of a performance. And I don't think it's his best performance of his career. I don't think it's necessarily rocked the cinematic world. I think I just reminded you that Bradley Cooper was in Licorice Pizza. So, but he did get a decent amount of awards buzz for that. So he could be in supporting actor for this. He has so many Oscar nominations at this point. He doesn't need to be here, but maybe he will because he's also directing the film. It depends on whether or not the film is good and how it goes anywhere. Anyway, those are my choices for supporting actor. I'm really hard rooting for like Adam and Stellan, definitely. Like, if we could keep them in there, that would be great for them to get their first nominations. And then I wouldn't actually be mad if some of those people who I had just outside, like Mark Hamill, got his first nomination, or Delroy Lindo. I think those would be great. I love when people get their first nominations, and especially when they've been working at it for a while. Not when it's like yes, it's fun to nominate a breakthrough performance for somebody who's brand new, but also I'm less heartbroken when somebody like Dominic Sessa doesn't get the nomination than when somebody who's been around for a while misses out, and it's like, man, we could have given it to them. They've been here forever. They've been acting forever. What are we doing? So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.